In the year 1839, a Spanish slave ship was crossing the Atlantic Ocean. On board were Africans who had been captured illegally and sold into slavery, despite international bans already in place. The crew believed the voyage was under control. The ship was armed, the captives were chained. The ocean around them made escape impossible. But during this crossing, something happened that slave traders did not plan for. The vessel was La Amistad. It had departed from Havana, carrying Africans who were never meant to be there. Their capture violated existing treaties, but at sea, enforcement was weak. Profit still outweighed law. Below deck, the captives were confined in darkness. Space was tight. Guards checked in at intervals, confident that chains and distance were enough to prevent resistance, but they were not. The Africans watched the crew carefully. They learned the ship's routine. They noted when guards rested. They saw where weapons were stored and when they were left unattended. Most importantly, they understood timing. Night reduced visibility. Wind masked sound. Movement on deck slowed. They waited for that moment. Among the Africans was a man later identified as Sengbe Pierre, known in court records as Sinke. Witnesses described him as the central organizer of the uprising. But this was not the action of one man. It was a coordinated decision carried out by many. When the opportunity came, it came fast. Restraints were broken using tools already on board. Machetes meant for ship work were taken and repurposed. The Africans moved together, not as individuals acting in panic, but as a coordinated group. They struck the officers first. This decision mattered. By removing command before alarms could spread, the crew lost the ability to organize a response. Resistance collapsed quickly. Some crew members were killed, others fled. Within minutes, control of the ship changed hands. By morning, Africans stood on the deck of the slave ship. But freedom was not yet secured. They were surrounded by open ocean, hundreds of miles from land. None of them had navigated the Atlantic before. They faced a choice: abandon the ship and die at sea, or use the ship to go home. They chose to go home. One crew member was kept alive, not out of mercy, but necessity. He knew how to navigate. The Africans ordered him to sail east, toward Africa. During the day, he complied. At night, when the Africans could not read the stars or charts, he quietly altered course, north and west. This deception lasted for weeks. The ship zigzagged across the ocean, driven by conflicting intentions and the force of wind and currents. Eventually, land appeared. But it was not Africa. The ship was intercepted near the coast of North America. Armed authorities boarded. The Africans were seized, not as liberated people, but as prisoners caught in a legal dispute. What followed was not a mutiny trial. It became a test of the slave system itself. When authorities boarded the vessel with weapons drawn, they did not recognize the Africans as survivors of kidnapping or resistance. They arrested them. The Africans were placed in chains once more, this time by American officials. The crew members were questioned. The ship was seized, and the people who had taken back control of the vessel were jailed as prisoners, not protected as victims. Their fight was not over. It had only moved from the ocean to the courtroom. The case reached the United States Supreme Court. The central question was clear. Were these Africans legally enslaved property? Or were they free individuals who had resisted kidnapping? Evidence showed they had been taken illegally. Their transport violated international law. The court ruled that they had acted in self-defense. They were declared free. The survivors were returned to Sierra Leone. They did not return as victims rescued by others. They returned as people who had taken control of their fate, first through force, then through law.